It's that time of year again. Everyone knows that the holidays can become overwhelming quickly, so the sooner that you get things done, the better. For both shoppers and businesses, the best time to score great deals during the holidays is Black Friday and Cyber Monday weekend. And that's why you need Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Allbirds and Cowboy e-bikes to entrepreneurs who will be participating in their very first Black Friday or Cyber Monday this year. Shopify has everything you need to succeed from start to finish. First, Shopify's marketing tools help push your brand to the forefront of the chaos, no matter what platform your customers are on. Then, Shopify helps draw customers in with the ease of a convenient checkout with Shop Pay, Shopify's expedited checkout that saves customers information and reduces hassle. The best part? Shop Pay has been proven to boost conversions, meaning you see less abandoned carts and more profits. You can also stress less knowing that Shopify's award-winning customer support team is on standby 24/7 to help with any issues that arise, allowing you to get back to business as fast as possible. This Black Friday, join thousands of new entrepreneurs hearing for the first time with Shopify. Sign up for your free trial today at shopify.com/income. That's shopify.com/income. Go to shopify.com/income and make this Black Friday one to remember.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels on everything from lamps to ceiling fans, even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes, now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox, clean feels good.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
With my son in my arms, I ran across the street towards my neighbor as fast as I could. The man was gaining on me quickly until he was just a few feet behind me.
She picked up a patio chair and started smashing it against our windows.
He stared at both of us with a blank look. The whole time I was waiting for him to flash us. I also feared he might just use that spear.
From Killer Podcasts. True tales of horror, bizarre happenings, unexplainable events. This is Disturbed. Hello, and welcome back to the show. This week, we have 3 stories that will make you shudder. So sit back, listen closely, and dive into the horror. In our first story, a door knocker has sinister intentions. Narrated by Lizz Kellerman from an anonymous Disturbed listener. If you'd like to share your true story, visit disturbedpodcast.com.
I live in Cleveland, Ohio, in a house that backs right up to the lake. Behind my house, there's a steep cliff with stairs that lead down to a little rocky beach. The front of the house faces a busy main road with a long driveway and a gate before you get to the front door. On each side of that door are floor-to-ceiling windows so you can see straight into the house from outside. It was a regular Monday afternoon. My husband, who I'll call Michael, is a professional basketball player, and he was out of town with his team. Nothing ever happens in our neighborhood, so I felt safe being home alone. I was sitting in the kitchen, finishing a late lunch, when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I got up and I looked through the side window. A woman was standing there, maybe late 30s, short curly hair, really thin. She was holding a basketball and smiling in this odd, almost frozen way. I didn't think she looked dangerous, so I opened the door and said, "Hi, how can I help you?" She immediately asked, "Is Michael home?" It caught me off guard. I'm sorry, who are you?" "I'm friends with your neighbor Anna," she said. "I'm doing a charity event, and I was wondering if Michael could sign this basketball for me. Are you his wife?" The whole time she was talking, she kept trying to peek past me into the house. "Michael's not home right now, but yes, I'm his wife, and you can leave the ball with me. I'll have him sign it and send it back to you." When I reached for the ball, she pulled it away and said, "That's okay, I'll come back another time," and just walked off. It was strange, but I didn't think too much about it. Over the next few weeks, I started noticing weird little things in the yard. Food wrappers, empty water bottles, even a scarf. I assumed they'd blown in from the road. I didn't even check the security cameras. A few weeks later, my husband and I were out of town visiting family. It was Saturday night around 7 p.m. when the phone rang. It was the police. Our neighbor, Anna, had called 911 because a woman was trying to break into our house. They told us she'd been walking around the house trying every door. When none opened, she picked up a patio chair and started smashing it against our windows. She even grabbed our garden hose and sprayed the security cameras, trying to disable them. When the officers arrived, she tried to run, but they caught her. One of the officers, who's a friend of my husband, later texted us a photo and her name. It was the same woman who'd come to my door with the basketball. We found out she lived just 5 minutes away with her parents. She was schizophrenic, off her medication, and completely obsessed with my husband. Her room was full of photos, newspaper clippings, and things about him. We filed for a restraining order. Her parents promised she'd been hospitalized and back on her meds, so we didn't press charges. When we got home, we reviewed the security footage. Watching it was terrifying. She was so determined to get in. And I kept thinking, what if I'd been home? I often leave the back door open during the day. What would she have done if she'd found me there alone? Then we checked the older recordings, and what we saw made my stomach drop. Weeks before the break-in, she'd already been there. You could see her hiding in our yard at night, eating, drinking water, watching our house. That's why there were wrappers and bottles. She'd been camping there for nights. After that, we upgraded our cameras, installed alarms, and I never stayed alone again when my husband traveled. But to this day, I can't stop thinking about how close it was, how easily it could have gone differently, and what would have happened if I'd opened that door one more time.
Stay tuned for more disturbing stories. In our next story, a bank teller meets an unstable customer. Narrated by Dacey Else, from disturbed listener Lauren.
I've worked at a local bank for a number of years. For privacy's sake, I'll withhold the name and exact location, but it's located in the Midwest. I've witnessed countless creepy customers, including one man I swear killed his wife so he could gain access to her bank account, but that's another story. The area our branch is located in is known for a high number of homeless individuals hanging around. On one summer Saturday, nearing the end of our shift, I saw a shirtless man start to walk up near our front door. At first, I assumed he would just walk past, as most do. Then he stopped, dropped his belongings in the alcove, and stood for a moment. My stomach dropped when he turned around to face us, and I realized that not only was he shirtless, he was only in his underwear. And he was coming inside. He also had a large walking stick with a sharp object fashioned to the top. It wasn't a knife, it looked more like a spear he'd created. We're trained to never panic, so I calmly made a beeline for the doors with my coworker, who had noticed him when I did. Luckily, there's 2 sets of doors, and we were able to stop him before he was fully inside. My coworker placed her foot in the door with me behind her and asked him, "How can I help you?" "I'm here to open an account," he said. Both of us were too close to him for comfort. This man was fully naked except for the extremely tight and barely there underwear he was wearing. With his spear in hand, he tried moving past my coworker. She stood her ground and said, "Sorry, we don't open accounts on Saturdays," which is a lie, of course. I moved even closer behind. "But I'm here now," he said. "We don't have anyone here who opens accounts," my coworker explained. "Plus, you would need to be fully clothed to do that." He stared, then replied, "My clothes are at the laundromat, drying." She told him with forced kindness, "It's going to be a no today. You're welcome to come back Monday with your clothes on, but I'm going to ask you to leave." He remained in place, and the whole time I was waiting for him to flash us. I also feared he might just use that spear. He stared at both of us with a blank look, the kind that chills your spine. The homeless in our community are aggressive and usually on drugs. You can never predict their next move. Finally, after what felt like minutes, he silently turned around and walked out the front door. My coworker quickly locked the set of doors that go to the lobby so he couldn't come back in. He didn't leave, however. He stood facing the parking lot. I turned my attention to the one elderly customer who had been in the lobby the whole time and witnessed this. I asked her if she would like to be escorted to her car from the side door. She asked me why. I must have looked at her incredulous. I stuttered, "There's a situation outside. The man appears to have a sharp object." This woman dug her fingernails into my arm and said, "You ought to be ashamed of yourself making this about his race." Again, I looked at her dumbfounded. I said, "Ma'am, I didn't mention his race, and it's not about that. It's more about the fact that he's in his underwear in public." She said she'd happily walk out the front, so we let her go. Dealer's choice. One of those locals who think we should cater to that behavior. I see that all the time too. After the woman walked past him, he let out this guttural yell and spread his arms out. He then started to punch his chest. He let out one final yell into the atmosphere, grabbing his things, and walked off. We checked the cameras to ensure he was gone, and all of us released the breath we had been holding. We didn't call the police, mostly because we figured he would get questioned eventually walking around like that, due to the heavy police presence around the area. Plus, it was frowned upon by executives to call the police. Stupid, I know. When we told our boss on Monday, she chastised us for how we handled it and said we shouldn't have locked the doors. Go on with business as usual. Keep in mind, 0 customers arrived during this whole thing. When I told her the situation could have been far worse and we should have plans in place for these situations, she gaslit all of us and said, "I don't understand why that scared you. Nothing happened." I was pissed. I still work here and can't wait to find another job. We never saw the man again, but I always wonder about his situation and why he thought to visit the bank that day. I also get a chill thinking about what could have happened if he made it in. Too many what-ifs to consider, but I'll never forget his blank stare.
Welcome back to the show. Finally, a stalker sets his sights on a mother and child, and they're locked out of the house.
This was fall of last year, on a cool September day. I rushed out the door with my little 2-year-old crying in my arms, and I accidentally locked us out of the house. My fiancé was on a job close to 45 minutes away, and my landlord was out of town. Great. I called my fiancé, and he said he could bring me the keys soon. My son and I made the best of it by playing in the front yard. We live at the end of a street, not a dead end, but right near a stop sign, in a rundown part of town. While we were in the grass, I spotted a man with a backpack walking down the road. Nothing new. He walked up the road, and then a little while later he came back to the street I live on. He then began retracing his steps, following the same path he had taken just minutes earlier. As he passed for the third time, he eyeballed me with a slight smirk. Up and down, up and down. My gut started to sink. I was boxed in and prepared to toss my kid over the backyard fence. I called my neighbor to have her husband come outside when the man reached the stop sign again. This time he stopped behind a tree, directly blocking him from my line of sight. I walked to where I could see him, and he was pulling something out of his backpack. He stepped out from behind the tree, immediately locking eyes with me, now holding a hatchet. At that moment, my neighbor stepped outside, catching his attention. They locked eyes. The man quickly glanced at my son and I, looked back towards my neighbor, and then booked it right towards me. With my son in my arms, I ran across the street towards my neighbor as fast as I could. The man was gaining on me quickly, hatchet raised, until he was just a few feet behind me. I reached my neighbor just in time and practically threw my son into his arms. I turned and saw the man, hatchet still raised, only 4 feet away from us. There was a clear darkness inside of him and frustration. He turned and ran away, and we never saw him again. It was the scariest moment of my life. So yeah, Mr. Hatchet Man, let's not meet again.
Want more Disturbed? Check out our Patreon for member-exclusive content, early merch access, and other cool perks. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed, a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more paranormal and true crime shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Follow our social channels at Disturbed Podcast on Instagram or Disturbed_pod on Twitter. If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and reviewing on your favorite listening platform. Share your own true horror story at disturbedpodcast.com. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Our producer is Declan Roars. Audio engineering by Nathan Corson, Will Pritz, and Sean Rule Hoffman. Executive producer Bridget Coyne. Until next time, stay safe out there.
Beware, extreme passion can lead to shocking consequences.
On Scorned Love Kills, the podcast from ID, find out what happens when lust and obsession turn deadly. In each episode, you'll hear direct audio from the hit TV show and uncover true, unexpected stories about love gone wrong, about relationships that
Become a volatile mix of jealousy and anger.
Listen to Scorned Love Kills on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Is the pressure of your wedding day being perfect from sunrise to sunset weighing on your mind? Planning a wedding can be stressful, but it shouldn't be, and that's why we're here to help. On the Bridechilla podcast, we celebrate love and help you plan your wedding day. We're all about keeping it real and having fun every step of the way. So whether you're just starting to plan or counting down the days, we're here to help you stay cool, calm, and collected. We have expert tips and amazing guests. Let's get this party started and embrace your inner Bridechilla. Listen to Bridechilla wherever you get your podcasts or visit us at thebridechilla.com.